to him under the situation. It's got to be tough, but to hang on in there. Um, Watching the fight, I think, in my estimation, it just became an issue of who had the better timing. I know Errol said that his timing was off, but I don't know how many times he's faced fighters who has great timing coming back at him. And that could be the reason why and make you think that your time is off, because all of a sudden you get in touch with things you normally wasn't getting touched with before. I know Sean Porter had early success touching Errol with pretty much clean shots and everything. Kind of had him just a little befuddled. So I don't know if it was the time, if that was him being completely off, or just Terrence, who I said in an earlier interview, he's always in the gym. He's always working on his craft. He doesn't have any bad habits. He's never abused his body. So years and years and years of that. And then also remember, one advantage of going through the weight classes is that you come up fighting faster guys. So you can carry that into a higher weight class. You come up fighting faster guys. So you started out quick, and you took the quickness, and you also was able to take the power with you. So it was apparent that he had superb timing, and but the main thing is, to kind of echo off what Teddy Atlas said, because so many people, great trainers and great boxing minds have said this, Crawford has eyes. He can see. And when you can see, things become slow to you, because speed is in the body, quickness is in the mind. And when you could process things quicker, it becomes much slower to you. It's just like a great high average baseball hitter. It's like a great running back. When he can see, those holes become bigger to him that appear smaller to somebody else.
Right on the money. Virgil Hunter just broke down things that I've been saying. Of course, he said it better than I could, about Terrence Crawford and the differences between him and Errol Spence. And let's talk about those for a minute. The timing. We hear Errol Spence talk about timing more than anything else. Well, Terrence Crawford is great at timing. Terrence Crawford has mentioned many times as he sees the holes, okay, which means the holes, that means the openings of the punches that he can land. You know, they're basically situations and times in the fight where you have to fill out and create the openings or the holes. You know, and then that's done by a process of elimination on what you do versus what the other fighter does. The reflexes, the punches fighters throw when they counter, certain things that they can do, what they're able to do. These are things all in the filling out process. You know, like people talk about Lomachenko, then like he downloads the data. Okay, that's the same thing. Basically, you're seeing what that fighter has the offer, what that fighter can do, and what that fighter can do based off of what openings he creates, trying to do what he does to you. Okay. From a fighter like Terrence Crawford, he's able to see things, like Virgil Hunter said, that other fighters can't see. It's the eye that he has. And those things, what makes him extraordinary, are above other fighters, because a lot of fighters can't see that. They just see certain things based on what they're able to do, not based on something that they can take advantage of. Okay. And the smaller weight classes was a perfect example and a perfect description on how Terrence Crawford's able to do that. Coming from other weight classes, the benefits smaller. You're in there with faster guys. People, and we heard people talk off shit that, oh, he got beat by Yordeokas Gamboa. But you fail to realize Yordeokas Gamboa is smaller, so therefore he's faster. That's why he was difficult, because he was darting in and out. He was catching Terrence Crawford, and then he was getting out of position for Terrence Crawford to counter until Terrence had to make adjustments. But understand, Those fights that he had with guys like that, undefeated guys like Gamboa, like Ndongo, like Postal, those guys were faster than guys that Errol Spence dealt with because Errol Spence was coming from 154 and he campaigned at 147. Okay, so the speed belongs to Terrence Crawford. See, everything is perfect in 2020 in hindsight now. We're talking all this shit. But before everyone, oh, he's just too big, he's too this, he's too that. The same shit we said about Joshua, Derek Chisora, and everybody else at heavyweight that fought Usyk. Okay, so we're having the same conversation about how good Terrence Crawford is, and we should. Okay, we should absolutely do this. But I liked what Virgil Hunter had to say. In closing in this video, I want to add the best for last. And the best for last was what he was able to do based on his training and based on what? How he treated his body. Terrence Crawford had no bad habits. That's why it was an exclamation mark when he said it, Virgil Hunter. When he said, hey, Terrence don't have bad habits like that. See, Errol Spence did. See, Errol Spence questioned, our people that followed Errol Spence or thought he was going to win, questioned like, okay, what is this wreck or what is this going to do? Well, all that's due to consequences of having bad habits. Okay, that's no fault of Terrence Crawford whatsoever, but it just shows the comparison between the two. One that doesn't do those things, and that's all in the ballpark of taking care of yourself and preparing yourself. Okay, and those lack of bad habits, just like, why do you think Floyd Mayweather's so great? The only bad thing you hear about Floyd is he eats bad, but that's what kind of makes him an alien because he still stays in shape. He eats all types of sick shit, but he takes care of himself because you don't see him drinking. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't do any of that stuff. Okay, and he works out like a freaking some kind of weird specimen. But so does Terrence Bud Crawford. You guys tell me what you think of Virgil Hunter's, I know I would say that, breakdown of Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!